Yeah, no, I just. All right, cool. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am going to call the Pleasant Valley Property Sale Review Committee to order at 6:35 p.m. And I will call the roll. Chair, Councilor Gajewski, present. Councilor Pacino. Present. Commissioner Boris. Present. Representative Good. Present. Representative Gibbs. Here. Director Reiner. Here. Manager Burt. Here. And Administrative Staff Piazza, who is here but not a member. We're all here. I will now look favor upon a motion of approval of minutes from our first meeting on February 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Burt.
Second.
Seconded by Good. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
But now that we're done, I've noticed I'm put under staff, whereas I'm actually a member. That's just
6 to
something-
0
yeah.
to 0. We will now move on
Just
to
for the
new
agenda.
business, the process of scoring, selection, and request for proposals, which I will believe we're directing over to Corinne. Thank you.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to dive into our brief public portion of the presentation. This information is something that the committee has seen before, but it's largely also for anyone who's joining online who may not have attended our previous meeting, just to keep, sorry, those following along up to speed. To get this to actually.
Unless you. But then. Would they? Just type a number in, but otherwise.
Also make it. We'll just work with what we've got. Okay, so this presentation, we'll do a very brief overview of the PSRC role within the town property disposition process. We'll also jump into your roles and responsibilities. We'll touch on why we go into executive session to review requests for proposals, and we'll do a very brief overview of the schedule and next steps. Getting there. Okay. All right, so for disposition background, in July of 2023, our town council adopted a new property reuse evaluation process or disposition process. We reference this because the Pleasant Valley property will be one of the first ones to be subject to this process. The RFP was posted in January and it was posted and closed in January 21st. And then the PSRC kicked off their 4-meeting schedule starting this February. And this process, property will go through the new disposition process. So this graphic is a depiction of, there we go, that's better. This graphic is a depiction of the town owned disposition process. As you can see on the top, we broke it down into phases, so it's very easy to understand what we're trying to accomplish in each phase. So the green one is our property review. You can see a big gold check mark there. We finished that for the Pleasant Valley property. This is what decides if it's in fact deemed excess and can move towards requests for proposals for it to be redeveloped. The blue column is our identification of public benefit preferences. This is where the town council identifies what they'd like to see happen with this property. Big gold check mark on that one as well. Now we've moved into the orange phase, which is the project concept and development partner selection. You can see the yellow, we are here star and step 10, and that's where we are with the property sale review committee and what we're doing right now for the property. And zooming in a little bit on those last two phases. Again, we're in this pink area, or excuse me, this pink area with the the PSRC process. So once this committee is done and makes their recommendation to town council, it moves into the town council process, which is estimated to be about 60 to 90 days. They select that final developer and concept, and then it moves into negotiation and legal agreements, which is an additional 60 to 90. The PRSC's main goals, we have 4 meetings, and the objectives are very straightforward. They do a preliminary scoring of the RFP responses. It's important to note these are not final, it's just an initial review to get everyone familiar with the content of the proposals. Then the We Are Here start is where we are tonight. This committee will discuss their preliminary scores, and they'll arrive at a potential short list of the top candidates for interviews, and they can identify any clarifying questions they have for those interviews and the final candidates. Then the next meeting will hold those interviews in the 3rd and 4th meeting if we need to. Then the PSRC makes a recommendation to the town council of the leading candidates and request for proposals. Just to briefly go over the objectives of what the committee is looking at when they review those proposals. If you look at the RFP document, it's broken down into 4 main sections: project approach, team qualifications and experience, project viability and timeliness, and benefits to the town. And the way we've asked respondents to outline their response also highlights key things that are very important to the town, such as how they've hit the goals of the preferred scope of development, which is what the town council identified in that 2nd phase of what they'd like to see for the property, the feasibility of the project and the timeline, because timeliness is important, and any proposed incentive or deal structure that they have that we can help offset some of the costs of the public benefits we are asking for as a town. And again, important to note, it's just preliminary scoring, it's not the final decision. And then our second to last slide, we like to touch on why we go into executive session for RFP response review. The first one is it's per Connecticut state law. This allows us to provide confidentiality during the review, and anyone who is a bidder or applying to, submitting a response, it's a consistent experience across municipalities, which is very important. It's also to protect proprietary information. So as a town, we're really interested in the best offers possible. And in order for us to receive those, our respondents have to be able to trust that they get a fair process and something they might be providing for us, such as competitive research that they did that gives them an edge against their competitors, is not available from the start, so that it can be protected throughout the process. That leads us to fairness. We're really aiming to preserve the integrity of that response review so that it ensures a fair process for everyone, and there's really no opportunity for interference as responses are reviewed and they get a fair response or review. Also, it's for town advantage. This really allows us the strongest position for negotiating and selecting a leading project, so that if every proposal were out on the table currently, it'd be really hard for us to negotiate for the best options available. And then finally, there are checks and balances within executive session. This is not a one-on-one negotiation at any point. These checks and balances are built into the process, and executive session includes elected officials, town staff, and the respondents. And finally, that information is available at a certain point, and there's a public hearing as well to help select the final project concept. However, all of that information is provided at the appropriate time to help ensure a fair process and effective negotiating opportunity for us as a town. And then finally, our next steps tonight, we'll be looking at those preliminary scores and selecting candidates for a shortlist interview. Then we move into identifying our clarifying questions, and then potentially holding interviews for the shortlist candidates in our next 2 meetings prior to making the recommendation to town council. And that is it for the public portion of the meeting.
Just for those of you following at home, that also included in the section on new business of section 2, review of PSRC schedule and next steps. So we are moving on to agenda item number 3, which is the overview of RFP respondents, which will be an executive session. Councilor Pacino has the motion for that, and I ask that he read that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I move that the members of the Pleasant Valley Property Sale Review Committee go to executive session pursuant to General Statute Section 1-206D for the discussion of the selection of site or the lease sale or purchase of real estate by the state or political division of the state concerning potential purchase and development of the former Pleasant Valley Elementary property. I so move.
Motion by Pacino, seconded by Good. Question for, Corinne. Do we need to add you into the motion to, invite you into executive session?
Yes.
Okay, so I will make an amendment, to add Corinne Piazza, town staff to join us in executive session.
Second.
Motion by Gieske, seconded by Pacino. We will now vote on the amendment. Oh, no, hold on. Any discussion? The amendment. Hearing no discussion, we will now move, on a vote. All those in favor of adding Corinne Piazza into the, motion and joining us for executive session, please say aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries 6-0. Now we will vote on the motion as amended. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries 6-0. We are now in executive session at 6:46 PM. Okay, we are back from an executive session at 7:42 PM. We have no further new business on our agenda, so I will look favor upon a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Council Pacino,
Second.
seconded by Representative Good. Adjournment is not debatable. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously 7-0, and it is 7:43 PM.
Thank you.